Hello everybody, this is Jahames1, and today I'll be showing you my duels that I had with L96ONESHOT. So here right away I show you my stats that I use on this character, and yes, he does have a ton of vitality, although he could have even more if I really wanted him to. I mean, and like, take away some of that strength and dexterity and add more to vitality. And I also showed you the weapon that I'm using, which is a fire composite bow, fully upgraded fire. And yeah, it deals 448 damage, which is really awesome damage. I don't know how much his bow deals. I would imagine it deals something similar. Maybe more, maybe less. But now, when he first invited me to bow only duel, I thought we were just gonna go like all out bow only. Do whatever we can to win with bow only. So I kind of assumed that he'd be using enchantments with the resin on his bow. But just in case, as you can see right there, I had 71 charcoal pine resin ready to go, but I did not use any of the charcoal resin. Although I did use the, what's it called? The one that gives the poison damage to the weapon that's applied to. The rotten pine resin. Yeah, I did use that in a few battles, I believe. And it does stack, the poison effect stacks on top of poison arrows, so I was actually able to poison him in one arrow just a few times, and later on I think he kind of realized that I was poisoning him really quickly, and yeah, he put on some better armor throughout the video, and I took off more armor later on as our battles continued on. And the rings that I'm wearing, well, throughout the first few clips here, are the Darkwood Grain Ring and the Red Tearstone Ring. Now, the Red Tearstone Ring, it can be a very deceiving ring. Personally, when I'm fighting someone in a duel, they have low HP, I kind of go easy on them, mess around with them, maybe try to finish them off in a cool way or something. But when they're using the Red Tearstone Ring and they're low on HP, you really gotta be relentless. You can't give in, because they can just take you on in a few hits, even if you have like 50% HP. You just really gotta be careful of that. It is a very powerful ring, and yeah, just be cautious of it. Now here he tries to hit me with a poison dagger, but I think it's about the same speed projectile as the bow and arrow. And he takes actually he dodged that, and he healed himself with the poison. Very tricky. And from the video that I watched that he uploaded from his perspective, it looked like he was actually navigating through that menu while still dodging all my attacks, which is very skillful. It seems like a very tricky move to do in a bow only match, although in another match, well, it's still tricky, but not quite as tricky in a regular PvP match. Now here, this person had actually invaded us, some random person. Well, he invaded me. But later on, a little bit later in this match, you'll see the person just standing in the background, just watching us fight. I think it was pretty clear that we were having a duel, since, well, both of us were using bow only. Now, the person that I'm fighting, L96ONESHOT is his name. He does actually upload some videos. Well, he actually uploads quite a few videos for Dark Souls. I think he does it on a weekly basis, kind of similar to me. And I think he mostly does like music videos of Dark Souls with Dark Soul gameplay in the back, but he also does do commentary once in a while, just a bit of commentary. Yeah, as you can see in the background there's a red phantom, and honestly I think it's thanks to the Red Tearstone Ring I won that match, as well as some of these other matches. I probably should have switched it out, worn a different ring instead, but oh well. Now, in case you guys are wondering about how I enchant my bow, well, it's actually thanks to Phantom EWGF that I know about this, and he's this YouTuber who explains lots of glitches, oddities, and other tips and tricks for PvP on his channel. Doesn't really upload videos very often, like less than once a week, or almost maybe like one every 2 weeks on average now, maybe. But in his video he explained the this glitch where you can enchant a bow, but the bow has to be in your offhand, your left hand, as you see here, and in your right hand you have to have another weapon, any weapon that can be enchanted. Now you can only use this method to enchant using a resin. It won't work with a crystal magic weapon or dark moon blade, or nor will it work for sunlight blade. Yeah, so it'll work for charcoal resin, the gold resin, or the rotten resin. Now after watching his videos of these fights from his perspective and then comparing them to mine, I could definitely tell that we were doing pretty much the same damage throughout all of our fights. Although once I switched to my moonlight arrows, I think I did a bit less damage. So while we were fighting, well, this is actually one of the few duels that I haven't talked to the person that I'm dueling on Skype at the same time, which I kind of regret, because I feel like I have better communication, and honestly I feel like I do better when I'm talking to them on Skype. Yeah, just much better communication. If we were talking on Skype, it probably would have helped us well, coordinate better and maybe get things set up better. Then none of us would be using questionable tactics like these. But anyways, that's alright. We still had some very good matches. Now here I was using 0 poise, and in the last match as well, with this Wanderer set armor. And I believe he has some poise, just enough to resist my arrows. But that's fair enough. I guess that makes us even for my first few matches there. Or my first match. Now these matches are actually my first time using a bow only, my first attempt at it. And at first I didn't think it would be anything more than just rolling around, dodging attacks, and hitting the R1 button trying to hit your opponent. But I soon come to find out that it's a lot more than that. You guys should really try it sometimes. See what I mean? Now some other tactics may include holding down the R1 button or the attack button for a little bit longer to try and trick your opponent. And here in these last 3 or 4 matches, we were actually using these pillars as cover and kind of as an obstacle. Now here I am poisoned, and he does kind of walk around me. And honestly, if he had just played it safe, waited it out a little bit longer, I'm sure he could have won, just from the poison alone. But luckily for me, I just barely get that hit on him and finish him off right there. He nearly won that match, and I nearly died. So yeah, this character, he's my vitality build. He's of all my characters that I've made in Dark Souls, he's my first one that I can actually say is optimized a bit more than the others. Well, a lot more than the others for PvP, rather than experimental and just calling them player versus environment characters. Now in this match here, he's actually using this, I think it's a light crossbow. Well, it's obviously a very, very small crossbow. It's like a handgun crossbow, medieval pistol. Yeah, I don't know, but it only deals about 100 damage, and it has quite the recovery. But I think the first few times he used it, I don't think I was able to get a punishing attack on him. You see now, right there I did. Now here, like I said earlier, I'm using my moonlight arrows, which do 80 damage of magic damage. Sometime I should really make a video showing off which characters I have and their builds, and maybe explaining why I use them, why I built this character, and stuff like that. So L96 stated in his video that I have about 600 more HP than he does, and I did tell him my HP in the chat room on a PS3. So I think that kind of really makes this battle like especially even, and this one is a very, very close battle, as I'm dealing 100 damage on him or so. He's dealing, I think, 150 or maybe about 100 on me. And look, he poisons me right there, but then he gets caught between the pillar and myself. He's unable to dodge that. I take him out. That was definitely another close match for me. And now this is the last match. So from my experience in Dark Souls, there's 2 basic PvP builds. There's the vitality build, which just relies on fire, chaos, and lightning weapons. And then there's the dexterous, faith, or intelligence build, and dexterity can be substituted for strength depending on what your preference is of weapons. And of course, vitality build would just rely purely on like fire, lightning, and chaos weapons, which of course do definitely respectable damage, whereas the intelligence or faith build would rely on enchantments and a plus 15 or 14 weapon. Now there he had actually just waited for me and aimed the shot very well, and I know I was poisoned, but I was really not paying attention to it. I was just like ignoring it. And look, he gets another hit on me right there, and we're both very, very low on HP, but I'm the one who's poisoned. And you know, while I was fighting, I was paying like no attention to my HP. I just knew one more hit and I was dead. But you know, once again, I was just trying to hit him, wasn't paying too much attention to my HP. He takes me out, waits it out. That was a very wise tactic. Thanks for watching, you guys. Goodbye.